flow in this process to discover how to actually actualize themselves and expand oneself as well. So students, I got a question for you guys. Can perfection ever be obtained if we move throughout our lives in a constant state of understanding ourselves and striving to evolve who we are? Does it even make sense to pursue perfection, that is? So, in my opinion, I believe perfection is a byproduct of process and progression. When we focus on refining the process of learning who we are and expanding who we are, we can then begin to produce a life product that can come close to perfection. As a black man and human being, I know that I have flaws as well as strengths, but the process of understanding my flaws and strengths has made me who I am today. So that's why I started off saying that I hate public speaking. That's one of my flaws. So I just sidetracked for a little bit. In the process of trying to understand myself, when I was an undergrad, I went to Alabama State University. And I knew I was going to be a band director. I knew I wanted to be a band director and a teacher. So in order to combat my fear of public speaking, I decided to try for drum major. I put myself in a hot seat on purpose to get used to talking in front of people. That was one of the things I did then at that point in time. And I did that because I was able to have an understanding. I knew one of my flaws, and I knew how to work around that or figure out a way to work around that. And I think that's an important skill to have, especially for upcoming seniors that are going to be graduating, moving on in life. I think it's important for you to know your flaws as well as your strengths. So, when I was thinking about coming up with my idea for this speech today, I came up with an acronym to kind of help us understand the process of how we can understand who we are. And I call it UPS. The U stands for understanding your past. The P stands for be present in your present. And the S stands for strive for your future. So with understanding your past, self-reflection is a huge part of my life. I often write my own thoughts in a journal that I usually keep on my cell phone to help me process what may be currently going on in my life. The Jamaican politician Marcus Garvey stated the following about understanding your past. A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Self-reflection is how I make sense of my past history, my origin, my culture, and also understanding how I became this person I am today that allows me to be firmly rooted in who I am. So I got some questions for you guys, and these are questions that I ponder to every day. And I think all humans kind of ponder these questions. They may not have these conversations with other people, but one question you may ask yourself is, who am I? The second question you may ask yourself is, who have I become? How have I become who I am? And the third question you may ask yourself, what makes me who I am? I think that's important as you move throughout your life to understand who you are as a person and how you can be how you as a person are situated in the society that we are today. Because a lot of times if you don't know who you are, you can be influenced by anything. Anything can come in and change your identity if you're not firmly rooted in who you are, who your family raised you up to be, who your closest friends were when you're coming up. It's important to know those things. And again, this is just my opinion. So I'm gonna move on to the P. Be present in your present. So when writing this speech, I Googled what be present and the present could mean, and this is what I found. Being in the present moment means that we are aware and mindful of what is happening at the very moment. We are not distracted by ruminations on the past or worries about the future, but we're centered in the here and now. All of our attention is focused on the present moment. I believe having this ability is a show of gratitude for having the opportunity to see and live another day. So we deserve to give that attention to ourselves as well as to people, our loved ones around us. So great analogy for this, being present, being present. Like, how many times have we seen people on TikTok or any social media, they'll be at a concert and they're actually watching the concert through their cell phone instead of actually just enjoying the moment? A lot of times, especially now, we enjoy moments through our cell phones. We don't even realize that we got people around us that we can connect to as well. Again, it's super important to be present in the present, because you don't know when you may get that moment back again. That may just be one moment that may happen in your life, and you missed out on really experiencing it because you're doing multiple things. Like, a lot of people like to try to champion multitasking. It can be kind of difficult. When you multitask multiple things at one time, it can take away from probably the most important thing. So say, for instance, you're doing homework, watching TV, and your mom trying to have a conversation with you at the same time. Probably the most important thing is that conversation you're going to have with your mom, especially in high school. But once you graduate, those conversations could possibly cut down, especially face-to-face. So it's a matter of prioritizing and taking care of what needs to be taken care of in that particular moment. So, some questions to ask yourself about that. How often do you allow yourself to observe your own thoughts? Let me ask that question one more time. How often do you allow yourself to observe your own thoughts? So you see something happen now to somebody and you get angry about it. Why did that thought of being angry come about at that particular point in time? Do you understand what triggered you? Or a certain thing happened, you get happy about it. Why did you get happy at that point in time? Second question, have you ever considered the origin of those thoughts? And the third question, do those thoughts control you? A lot of times, again, something happens to us in the classroom and we get upset immediately. You're being controlled by your emotions instead of actually taking time to understand, why did you get upset? Can I have a better solution to this particular situation? It takes some time sometimes for us to think about those things. So I'm going to go to my last letter, which is S, striving for the future. Striving for your future takes courage, creativity, and curiosity. Courage is needed to face the unknown. Creativity is needed to create what hasn't been created. And curiosity is needed to imagine what could be. Author Shannon Adler has the following quote about the future. Anyone can fail at something they don't really want. What really takes courage is going after something you really want and then failing. There's more fulfillment in life knowing that you tried rather than settle without a fight. It takes courage to move forward in the future. So, I give you this example. A gentleman that came up just said that I was working on my doctorate degree at Auburn University. For me, myself, me getting my doctorate degree has been something I've been wanting to do forever in the day, since I was an undergrad at Alabama State. Now, I drive back and forth from Birmingham to Auburn at least 3 to 4 times a week. That's about 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. And I also work at Miles College as well. So I sacrifice a lot, about 5 hours a day on the road in order to do that. But I felt like the sacrifice was worth it, because if I hadn't done it, this would be something that would be hanging over my head forever today. So I would rather say that I tried and failed versus not trying at all. So I think it's important that if you have a passion of something that you really want to do, to go forward and try it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. I think that's super important. So, to close it out, because I know I don't want to keep you guys, to tie it back around with perfection, I have one more quote, and the quote goes like this: strive for continuous improvement instead of perfection. Again, perfection is a byproduct of process and progress. You want to make sure that you, as a student and as a human being, and this is me speaking to myself as well, you want to focus on the process of improvement every day versus the product of perfection. Thank you.